My name's Dave DeBoe, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey everybody, welcome back. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever kind of wondered what a good and effective way is to connect with potential investors, joint venture partners, business partners in general? Well, today's guest, Mr. Nizan Mosery, is, from what I can tell, a master at this. And I'm really looking forward to talking with him about his real estate investing journey, what he's up to in I believe, the multifamily space, and how he connects with investors and prospective partners in very, very interesting ways. So, Nizan, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate being here.
Yeah. So, hey, first things first, tell us a little bit about what real estate investing looks like for you. What do you do? What asset class? What do you focus on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started out, like a lot of people in the single family world,
Yeah.
fix and flip, doing a little wholesaling here and there and whatnot. And then I got into the rental, the multifamily world. I found that I'm very lazy. I don't like to work a lot. I like to do things once and have them pay me over and over again. And so now I am in the multifamily and student housing world. Yeah.
Very cool.
So, buying us purpose-built student housing properties. The last 18 months, my team and I, we went out and we bought 3 properties, one in Milledgeville, Georgia, one in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and another one in Athens, Georgia.
Nice. All student housing.
Those 3 are student housing. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I actually, I kind of disposed of all my multifamily properties.
Oh, wow.
It was a seller's market. So why not sell? We got good deal, good prices. Our investors made some really good money, good returns, got out of those and into the student housing. And the student housing has been outperforming itself by leaps and bounds.
Okay, cool. So let me unwrap that a little bit, if you don't mind, Nissan. So maybe tell us, compare and contrast apartment buildings to student housing, pros and cons of each. Why are you so bullish on student housing right now?
Sure, absolutely. Great question. So student housing is a niche, like a sub niche of multifamily,
Yeah.
right? So multifamily is great. And I love multifamily. Multifamily, people will always need a place to live. So it's recession proof, it's inflation proof. When times are good, rents go up. When times are bad, people, it's not a fun thing to say, but when people lose their homes,
You
right?
gotta live somewhere.
They got to live somewhere. So they go and they rent. Rents go up a little bit, right? So it's really a good place to park your money for appreciation, depreciation, and cash flow. I call that the golden trifecta. I kind of coined that myself.
Nice.
Now, what I like about student housing, which is a subsect of multifamily, is that it's again, students. There will always be universities. There will always be scholarship programs, in-state scholarship programs that help high school students who've excelled in high school to get into in-state universities, right? No politician will ever take away government funding to universities, right? That'll be the death of them,
Yeah.
right? And what we like about it is that in these tier 1 universities, these big universities that have a growing freshman class, they weren't built to house all of these students that are flocking to them.
Okay.
A lot of people think that universities are decreasing, their attendance is decreasing, but these bigger universities, they're actually growing. They're growing by leaps and bounds, and they don't have enough places to house all of the students.
Now, do you have, just a question here, do you guys have a lot of foreign students coming to the US to study at those top tier universities as well?
Yeah, you have a lot of foreign students coming in, but you also have, for example, University of Georgia, UGA in Athens, Georgia, 40,000 students. 95% of them are in-state scholarship students.
Wow.
That means that these are kids that went to high school in Georgia and got scholarships to go to an in-state university. And
Mhm.
GA is top three on the rankings. So, while you're thinking maybe, foreign students, there's a lot of kids who are in state that want to go. And what that
In
does.
state, but out of town. So they can't
Exactly.
stay with mom and dad. They got to live
Right.
somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Like my daughter, we live in Boca. She wanted to go to FSU, which is in Tallahassee. Why? Because it's far away from us. Right. Just, I want to be away from you.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't want you
right.
to control me anymore. Yeah. I hear you.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
there used to be these regulations that stated that freshmen and sophomores had to live on campus.
Mm.
Now, as the freshman class grows, a lot of the universities are telling the sophomores, we don't have room for you. You got to go off campus. And a lot of these universities now are telling the freshmen, first come, first serve. If you don't get on campus housing, you got to go live somewhere else.
Mm.
So, supply and demand, a lot of demand, not a lot of supply. And then you go into markets, for example, like Murfreesboro, Tennessee, investors in multifamily are going in there and they're taking student housing and converting them into multifamily because there's been a referendum over there that's limiting how much you can build on an acre and so forth, because they want to limit now the amount of units coming online because of infrastructure and sewage and electric. They can't handle it. So this is just causing a perfect storm for us in the student housing space. And another thing that why we like student housing is, guess who's on the hook for the lease?
Mom and dad.
That's
Yeah.
right. Mom and dad.
Yeah.
Right. So, you get a call and you go, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we love your kids. They had a party last night and 7 of their friends put their heads through the wall. We're going to send you the bill. Now, mind you, that's what we think of student housing, right? Like Animal House,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That kind of kegs flying out the wall, out the windows and whatnot. But it really isn't like that, right? Because remember, a lot of these kids are on scholarships.
Mm.
So they can't afford to mess up like that. A lot of them are athletes, right? They're in these different programs. So, I mean, while they like to have parties and whatnot, but it doesn't really get out of hand so much. And it's just been an incredible journey with these student housing. They've been outperforming our projections, our pro forma numbers. So, I'm very grateful to have an incredible team. One of my partners, he's been in student housing for 25 years.
Wow.
He's done over 25,000 unique beds. He's worked for some of the big names, asset managed, regional manager of their billion-dollar portfolios. So he knows, and he has all the connections and all the ins and all the outs. So, it's been a great ride. So student housing, great asset class. Really good.
Why is it outperforming what you had before with multifamily properties?
Supply and demand.
So
Again, there's a huge
the rent
supply.
you're getting per square foot is much higher than what you're getting with. Yeah, it's
Yes,
almost.
but also you're renting by the bed, not by the
It's not even by the room; it's by the bed. And how many
right.
beds are in a room on average?
It depends. So our property in Athens, Georgia, we have 1-bedroom units and we have 2-bedroom units. However, in Murfreesboro, I've got 85 units, but I have 252 beds.
Wow. So that's 2 to 3 beds per unit.
Right. So in Murfreesboro, in that asset, in that property, you walk into a unit and it's a square unit. So on each corner, it's its own little tiny studio apartment. They have their own bed. They have their own little kitchenette, their ensuite bathroom. If they want to go into their little hub and close the door and have privacy and study, they can do that. But if they want to come out into the communal little lounge area, now they have it. And they have granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, TV, sofa, right? So it's pretty amazing.
And then so in that example, there's a studio unit in there. The other rooms have how many beds each?
So each unit has 4 studio apartments in it. So if you take 85 units and you multiply that by 4, you come out to 250 beds.
Yeah, so it's really 250 units, mini units.
That's right.
Like each one's its own. That's even better. So they're not sharing a room with somebody. They've got their own little.
They've got their own little hub.
Apartment.
That's right. It's not like when you and I went to university, man. I remember going to Pace University, downtown Manhattan. I shared a 10 by 10 room with 2 other guys. and the kitchen
Yeah.
was that like it was in a prison, somewhere in a prison. It was stainless steel. Had to come with my crate with my plates and my burner and my food and bring it out and then clean it and take it all back.
Oh,
It's not
geez.
like it was back then.
Yeah, it's times have improved. Those sound like nice units, that's for sure. Very,
Yeah,
very nice. So you must be able to charge a bit of a premium for that, or
that's right.
yeah, okay, very, very cool. That makes a ton of sense. What are some of the challenges or pitfalls? Like it can't all be sunshine and flowers. There must be a few little
Right. So,
negatives.
to keep the students happy, to keep them, coming back, you got to give them incentives, right? You got to work with them. So, for example, a lot of people think, oh, student housing, the leases are only 9 months. What happens 3 months out of the year? I mean, do you not get paid? We
Yeah.
have 12-month leases. We have
Oh,
12-month leases, right? So, for example, the universities, right? School ended. Now the kids are coming back in August. So we have 6 weeks to go in and fix 250
wow.
units,
Yeah.
right? So it's not like a multifamily where a tenant leaves, you go in, you turn that unit, right? Now you got, okay, I got a week, 2 weeks to turn the unit, and then I lease it up. No, we got 250 units that we got to go in 6 weeks, and we got to renovate everything. So you got to start beforehand, and you got to have that system and process in place. You got to have the vendors lined up. You got to have everybody lined up, because think about it.
Yeah.
A kid's already, we're already pre-leasing, right? We're
Yeah.
pre-leasing now for next year. And if you miss that pre-lease time, you're going to be, collecting all the riffraff that, is late and whatnot. Right.
Yeah.
So you got to really know the timing, and, so you have those stress factors, where in a regular multifamily, you don't have that. So, you have a tenant, you evict the tenant, or a tenant leaves. Now you go in a week, 10 days, you turn that unit, and now you lease it up again. So it's a little calmer in that sense.
Very, very cool. Very interesting. But just out of curiosity, so out of those 200 and whatever units in that particular property, what's typically the annual turnover? Like how many new leases are you starting up each year?
So when we pre-lease,
Yeah.
right, there's and again, this is the difference between the multifamily and the student housing. You go with different tiers, right? So as we're starting to pre-lease, we'll go, okay, so tier one, we'll give it a week. We'll throw out anybody that pre-leases now, their pre-lease unit rent will go up $50. You have a week, and we're only going to do 20 units. Okay, those 20 units are done. Now, okay, we'll go up to the next tier. Pre-leasing. If you pre-lease now within the next week, it'll be $100, and we're only doing 20 units. So there's those tier factors that you have to consider and go in, and there's a lot of moving parts. So our goal, obviously, is we want to pre-lease and renew as many students as possible, because you it just makes life easy for us. We have a property in Milledgeville, Georgia. Milledgeville used to be the capital of Georgia.
Mhm.
It's between Atlanta and Savannah, and it's a 2.5 minute walk to Georgia College and Georgia Military College.
Wow.
And it's a phenomenon because a lot of the units there, majority, are leased up by girls, and there are a lot of athletes, right? Softball, volleyball athletes, right? Great, great athletic department. But what's cool with them also is that they're in the sororities.
Mm.
So as the freshman sorority girls come in, the older sisters tell them, "You got to live here with us."
Yeah.
So they're
Right.
bringing in the girls. They're bringing in the
Nice.
new tenants. They're bringing in, and what's nice is that when we treat the students nicely, and pizza parties on Friday, or have a little bit of some gift card on Tuesdays, Taco Tuesdays, Pizza Fridays, they stay. They want to come back, and then they tell their friends,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
it's that system that keeps rolling and rolling, and we're having a lot of fun with it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Switching gears a little bit, Nissan, I know that this is a capital intensive kind of thing. You're raising capital and looking for new investors on a regular basis. When I was poking around your website, I saw a little bit about what you're up to with what I call themed events. So I see Skyline Social, Nautical Networking. That one I love, right? So I love the assonance or alliteration or whatever that is, right? Tell me a little bit about what those are and how you utilize these and what kind of results you get from doing these kind of specialized events.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. It's a great great topic. It's so networking, right? We always go to the same networking events. You go to a bar, you go to a hotel. It's the same concept, the same theme as you call it, right?
Yeah.
Being involved in multifamily and for the last 15 years, you also build an investor base, right? People that start trusting you, right? You do good by them, they do good by you. They keep investing, they keep coming back. So we have a list of investors that have invested with us, and we're also bringing in new people.
Mm.
And I like to think that I'm a guy who, I don't think out of the box. I kind of take the box and throw it away and say,
Okay.
let's come up with something completely different.
Yeah.
And me living in South Florida here, what do we have? We have the ocean, we have the intercoastal, you have these big, beautiful yachts and whatnot. So why not do a networking event on a yacht, on a 150-foot beautiful yacht, up and down the intercoastal, the Miami skyline behind you, food, drinks, a band, music, DJ, right? This is a way for us to give back to our investors as a kind of, hey, thank you for being part of us and
Yeah.
trusting us.
Investor
And
appreciation event kind of thing.
exactly. And on top of that, we bring in new investors, people that we want to build relationships with and say, hey, look, this is what we do. This is who we are. We go out of our way to say thank you to our investors. We go out of our way to come up with new ideas to make it interesting for you, to connect, to talk. We bring sponsors that can help sponsor the events and whatnot. I'm a big believer that when we sponsor an event or when we have an event and we have sponsors, I'm during that event, I'm bringing people to my sponsors, right? If it's a CPA firm, hey, you know what? This is one of our investors. This is a great CPA. We use him. Here are syndication attorneys. You're looking for this. He's a real estate attorney. Really getting our sponsors involved as well to show them appreciation for coming and spending money and trusting us that we're going to have a great event. So we did the nautical networking. Yeah. Right. That's on the yachts. We also did one in Manhattan, Skyline Social, right? A rooftop overlooking Manhattan.
Gorgeous view for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Gorgeous views, really nice, themes. So we did two in Miami, one, I believe, in Tampa as well. And we just keep doing these, right? And we're coming up with different ideas to keep it fresh, to keep it exciting. And now people know us as the guys who do networking events on yachts. And so many people, oh, when are you doing another one? When are you doing another one? Right. So as we do more of these events, we can really pick and choose, the guests that we want, but it also helps us elevate our networking to a totally different level.
Yeah. Yeah. Smart. So typically, like on one of your nautical networking events, I guess it's going to depend on the size of the ship, but how many people are typically coming out to one of these kind of events?
About 150 people.
That's a good number. That's a
good
boat.
Number. Right.
That's a big boat.
Yeah.
And I would imagine there's quite a bit of choreography there between showing love to your existing investors, schmoozing up the new investors, introducing people to sponsors, that sort of thing. It must be quite a bit to coordinate. So how many of you are typically kind of there, all hands on deck? So
when we're on the boat, we're all hands on deck.
Yeah.
During the process, one of my partners, she is, she's first of all, she's a powerhouse, right? She's a world champion power lifter. She's a cancer survivor.
Literally a powerhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. No. So we always joke every time we have an event. We're like, okay, who's Beth? Who's going to be thrown off the boat this time, right? Who's Beth going to pick to like launch? But her and our investor relations gal, Katie, the two of them, they take these events and they run with it, right? Obviously, we, anything that they need from us to do, we do. We have the step and repeats and setting up and doing things of that nature. So when we're at the event, we'll we all show up, the team shows up, we all set up, we bring people, and it's our responsibility as well to invite people, right? Invite specific people that we want, that we know can, help us build relationships and raise capital and move our business forward. While it's a great fun evening for us, it's business, right?
Yeah.
We're here for a reason. It's not a party night.
Yeah.
Right. Although we would love to, but we'll party after it's done when we've closed on the
when all the
property.
guests have left. Exactly.
Exactly. When we raise the $5 million and it's all good, then we can party.
So you're directly raising during these events.
Yeah. So we'll present, opportunity if we have a project on the contract and we're raising capital from our accredited investor base, we will pitch it. We'll go, hey, this is what we're doing. I mean, we've got them captive
get expressions of interest or letters of intent signed off on.
Soft commits and things of that nature, right? And then we have everybody's contact information. So afterwards, we go and we follow up. So what did you like about the event? We'd love to have you back. What are your thoughts of the opportunity that we have for you to invest in, and so forth?
Very cool. What's the frequency of these kind of supercharged networking events?
We like to do them around once a quarter.
Oh, really? Like a lot. Quite. So you're doing 3 or 4 a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very cool. And I notice you also have a monthly meetup. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that. What's the thought process behind that? What do you talk about? Who do you attract? That sort of thing.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So years and years ago, when I got started in multifamily properties and raising capital and networking and all that, my mentor told me, go to 2 networking events a week, grab business cards, follow up, build relationships, yada, yada, yada. We all know the story. So I had been out of the country for 15 years. I left New York. I'm from New York City originally. I left New York. I went traveling the world for many years, settled in Israel, and came back. I didn't know, and landed in Florida. So I didn't have a network. I had nobody. So I really had to, figure out how to network quickly to build my base. And it's funny. So I used to go out to events. I used to send my wife to different events, and I used to send her sister to different events, telling them, listen, go up, meet doctors, meet lawyers, meet engineers, meet all these professionals, take business cards and bring them home. I'll follow up. And it was tiring. It was tiresome. There's only so much you can do. There's only so many people you can talk to. So I said, instead of me going out to people, why don't I create a group, a meetup where people will now come to me? Okay. And I wanted it to be different than everybody else's. So my meetups are educational. I will come and we will discuss a different aspect of multifamily acquisition, student housing, capital raising, networking, syndications, LP, GP, underwriting, whatever it is. And, it's for savvy investors who want to level up. It's for people who want to network, who, you got a lot of doctors who they love what they do. They're making a crap ton of money, but they're not really financially savvy. Right. They're letting their registered investment advisor, their, portfolio manager, put them into mutual funds and stocks and all that. So they don't know. So I've created a meetup to attract these people, attract newbies as well that want to learn, that walk around and go, I know I can do this. I just don't know where to start. How do you eat that elephant? Right. Where do you start from? So I created a meetup to bring all these people together, create a community so that we can learn from each other. We can work together. We can build together, partner up together, all of that stuff. Because when I got started, I had nobody. Yeah. I didn't know how to underwrite. I didn't understand Excel. I was like, Excel, what is that? Right. Yeah. And so today my meetups once a month in Boca, and it's still educational. We'll meet up, we'll network, we'll talk, hang out, have a drink, and then we'll do a little 15, 20-minute talk of a different aspect of multifamily. And then anybody who's got questions, concerns, things of that nature, we break it down and we sit and we talk multifamily.
Very cool. How long have you been running that for?
Been running for several years now.
Yeah.
Several years. I stopped during COVID because so many people were doing the online stuff. And, I found it very boring myself to sit in front of a thing, and it's hard to network when you're
not the same.
for me, it was difficult. I didn't want to put anybody through it. And if it's difficult for me and I'm not enjoying it, why would I do it? I want to do things that I have fun doing, that I enjoy. So I kind of kept it off. And then I would say about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I started up again, and it's going well. I've got a meetup coming up on the 20th of the month. It's my meetups are the third Thursday of every month.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the month, I'm actually holding a 2-day workshop in Boca talking about multifamily, how to get involved, the different aspects of it. I've got sponsors and speakers coming to talk about how you can be your own bank, how you can do 1031 exchanges, how to structure your company for deferred taxes. My CPA is coming to talk. I've got my partner who's a lender, another one of my partners who's in institutional equity. So if you're raising $5, $6, $10 million, right, I can talk about raising capital if you want to do a duplex. A lot of people want to get into multifamily just to create that little cash flow, a couple extra $100 a month, so I don't have to worry about my car payment, so I don't have to worry about my bills and whatnot. You know what? I can show you how to do that. Get into a duplex, hard money loan, private money lender. Maybe you come up with a little bit. Maybe you have a friend that can invest with you, and now you're in it with almost no money in it, and you're cash flowing, right? So it's going to be a great 2-day event. I'm excited. Plus, I've got a former Tony Robbins trainer coming in, and we're going to be walking on glass, breaking boards, doing all kinds of stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Nizan, time flies when we're having fun. So if people want to find out more and connect with you, where should they go?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. You can go to www.multifamilyinc.com. That's multifamilyinc.com. If you want to work with me, you can go in. There's a place for an application. You can fill out the application. I read every single application. My contact info is there. You can definitely reach me from that website.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for sharing your insights. I love the networking on steroids events that you do. That is absolutely brilliant. The theme, the going over the top, and success is in the pudding. I mean, your proofs in the pudding. You're raising capital directly from those events. So plus you got sponsors footing the bill for a lot of it. So very smart. You're putting on a world-class event, and getting serious results for it. So that is amazing. Thank you very much. And everybody else, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.